All right, Marku. I think we put this off long enough.
All right.
Let's talk about the Mariners.
So we have to?
Yeah, we do.
All right. Well, the Mariners are now 25-38 in the season. Dead last in the AL West. Not much to say, man. We've been really bad. We've had a home stretch, 3 straight series at home, and it's just been awful. Finished up the series against the Rangers last week, and just a couple losses there. Lost 2 out of 3 against the Angels, and 3 out of 4 against the Angels, and now we're just getting smacked by the Astros. So it's been terrible for the Mariners.
Yeah, I think that's the key word is terrible. And this has just been terrible baseball. This Mariners team has been bad. I say, that game on Monday night. You were at that game on Monday night. They had it's something I've never seen before in a Major League Baseball game happen in that when nobody covered home plate. The shortstop made a play, threw it home like you're supposed to when a guy's running home, and the catcher wasn't there. He was running up to cover the first base bag. The ball literally rolled across the plate in front of the umpire as the runner crossed the plate. Nobody there to cover it. I got to tell you, Marku, that's a great metaphor for what's going on right now for the Mariners. There ain't nobody home on this team right now, and
yeah.
It is just errors and mistakes all around. They are giving games away. They've been getting their ass handed to them. It's not even that they're just losing. They've been getting their ass handed to them, Marku. This is not a good team. It's playing terrible baseball. I saw a stat, I think it was Larry Stone tweeted this out, where he said that since the 13-2 start, this team has played a .250 ball. They've lost 3 out of every 4 games that they've played since that 13-2 start. That is awful. Oh man,
we saw the best April in Mariners history, but then they followed it up by the worst May in Mariners history. Yeah, it's just
literally
so symbolic of what this team is just kind of going to be for the next few years. I feel like it's really concerning for me because I'm not seeing any of the prospects that are kind of getting an opportunity to come up here do much. J.P. Crawford got hurt. Shed Long's not doing much. I'm not a fan of Alex Smith at all. It's just really worrisome. I know it's just bad baseball and it's part of a process, but it's so terrible.
Yeah, and we talked about that. You said this is the worst May. This is literally the worst May in team history. They went 7-22 in May, the worst May in team history. The team ERA is above 6. It had been in April. It was at in the first month. It was like 4.5. They've given up more home runs. They've given up more walks. The bats, and here's on the other side, the bats have actually had fewer walks. We talked about this when the season started, that they were a lot of play discipline. This is where I thought they might be able to put something together. It wasn't just because all of a sudden they were 13-2. They were 13-2 because they were, sitting back and taking the walks and not making stupid mistakes. They are now at fewer walks. They are 2.9 walks per game. Right now in May. That is terrible. They were at 4.2 before. And the worst of it all, and this is the worst part for me, again, it's the metaphor, nobody home, throwing it home. Still the worst defensive team in baseball, and it's not even close. Not even miles away. The next closest team, it is let's see. The Mariners had 66 errors in the month of May. 66 errors in the month of May. The next team, I think, was the White Sox, had 47. They are 20 errors ahead, and this is the most infuriating part for me as a fan and a baseball watcher, because if you just take care of the fundamentals, you don't lose by as many. And what we're supposed to be watching here, we knew this was going to be bad. We knew this team was not going to be particularly good. They're not built to be good. They don't have the players to be good. They're built to see what they can do with the players they have. They're taking some salary, putting some guys out there, and seeing what the prospects can do. And now they're not even doing it. You mentioned that too. The prospects aren't even playing. We lost Crawford. That hurt, actually, because he was one of the prospects that was playing pretty well. He was hitting .279 and had... Of all the errors the team was committing, he had just 2 of them in 144 chances at shortstop, and lost him to injury, I think it was last Thursday, the 29th. Just as a note, in his 144 innings, he had 2 errors. Tim Beckham, playing shortstop when J.P. Crawford's not there, had 12 errors in 336 innings. I didn't do the math to get the ratio, but I'm telling you it's not close. That is not good. That you don't want that out there. So just...
Hey, I got to say something. Speaking of someone not knowing being home, like, we're the fans, bro. Like, I've been at the games last... I know this is a bad team.
Well, that's just it.
I know, but like, I'm from... I guess it's because I'm from New York. I don't know, because... Met fans show up for the most part, but like,
well, you know New York. There's nothing else to do in that city.
There's nothing else to do in that city. We can talk about it. Come on, man. I mean, we got a lot of people there. I'll give them that. But it's not just how empty it is. It's just there's something. And I get the team's been bad for a very long time, but it's just.
Well,
I think Seattle passiveness is real in T-Mobile Field, man. Like, you really, like, the Astro fans took over the stadium yesterday, and it was a Monday. It was so weird.
Well, it's bad baseball, and that's what it is. The problem is that there's really nothing to root for right now. It's all the errors on the field. You expect there to be to at least be competent baseball put on by a professional team, and the Mariners are not that defensively right now, and that affects the pitching. That we know the bats. I like to say they have a puncher's chance. They have less of a puncher's chance anymore, and the problem is because the pitchers don't trust the fielding. As soon as anything gets by, you can see the shoulder slump. We talked about Kikuchi was the bright spot last week. This week he gets lit up. He was in for 3.1 innings the other day, and 6 runs in 3.1 innings in a 9-3 loss against the Angels, who was the team that they were beating up in the beginning of the year. That was the one we wanted to play all the time because we could beat them. And so Kikuchi couldn't get there. Marco Gonzalez has been like crap in his past 7 starts. He's lost 6 of them. The team's lost all 7. He's not playing well. Now, granted, some of that is some defensive fault. There's not always earned runs involved in theirs because of all the errors, but they're not fun to watch. We knew they'd be bad. We knew they'd be processing. It's just not fun to watch, and I don't know who to blame. You know, like I don't know if this is this service. I mean, we gotta, when we talk about the process, I say this is processing. I'm a Sixers fan, right? You know, I was there for the process years, and I bought in, man. I was totally in for it because they had a plan. I love it. We got a plan. I'll follow it. I can trust the process. It's what the Astros did. The team that we're losing to this week is the team that we should be and are trying to emulate. Now, the Astros had the number 1 draft pick for 3 straight years. They were the worst team in baseball for 3 straight years. That's a long time. I don't know if the Mariners can hang that long, especially with, collecting the fans that they have right now, because they're not buying in because the team, the players, the prospects that they have don't seem to be guys to watch. Their farm system is getting better, but it's still not what you'd hope. Justice Sheffield is getting shellacked down in Tacoma, and he was supposed to be the big hope down there as well. So, I don't know, man. It's just that's why people aren't showing. It's
fair. I get it. But like, man, we have to kind of show up in some way. I mean, even when the team was really good in the beginning of the season, the stadium was overrun by the opponent's fans, and so I get that, man. It's bad baseball, but you got to show up, man. We lost a franchise once. Like, honestly, like I know, Safeco or T-Mobile's a destination that's probably gonna be there for a while, but like,
that one was stolen. I want to be clear about that. That was fucking stolen.
It was stolen, man.
We lost that. There's nothing we could have done.
Okay, I get that, but we almost lost the Seahawks once.
We almost lost the Mariners
a while ago. Like we've almost lost all of our teams before. It's not like it's a safe situation here in Seattle by any means. Like, I don't know. We lost one team. It just
and I got to tell you,
fear in my mind.
That is the worry. That is the big worry. Is fans starting to think that, and not only that, but this is a process. Like this step back, this rebuild that the Mariners are going through right now, that they initiated last year with all the big trades and everything. We'll get to a big trade that they made this week as well, real quick here. But all of this is designed to make you better for the future, and it's going to take time. It's hard you have to buy into it, and the fans can't start freaking out, because if the fans freak out, then the process goes to shit because the management freaks out. The hardest thing in all of this is being bad, and it's not. People say, "Oh, you're tanking." No, it's not that simple. It's tanking. Tanking you can almost watch. This is not tanking. This is a teardown. This is finding diamonds. This is looking for cast-offs from other teams. I mean, our bullpen is the island of misfit toys out there. Those are guys no one wants, and that is part of the problem. Some of them can throw, some of them can't, and not all of them can. None of them can do it consistently, and it's a mess right now, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. That is the worst part about this, Marku. It's going to get worse through this summer, and it's going to get worse because we're going to lose guys. Anybody who's doing well is not going to be a Mariner by September. But I got to think September is actually going to be pretty fun. I got a hunch that the kids start to finally put it together and get their shit together and finally figure it out somewhere around September, and they win some games. But the summer, I think, is going to be the dog days because they are just going to be shedding contracts, shedding players, and really just digging themselves deeper. We saw the first step of it this week, speaking of big trades, when Jay Bruce, who was acquired in a big trade, got shipped out in a big trade to the Philadelphia Phillies. Jay Bruce just recorded his 300th home run as a Mariner and then got traded.
I love that.
So he made his way to the Philadelphia Phillies in return for 23-year-old infielder Jake Shiner, who is playing, I think he's Double-A. He's a Double-A ball player down there. Jay Bruce, Philly gets Jay Bruce and $18 million of his $21 million contract this year. So Mariners eating a shit ton of money. Phils need him with the injury to McCutchen, by the way. That's going to be a big deal. And down there, he actually tonight in San Diego, he's hit 2 home runs, including a grand slam. So Jay Bruce showing out for the Phillies already down there. But that is actually, you talk about he had to take $18 million. There was some scuttlebutt about this, that they had to give him $18 million to take Jay Bruce. That's actually still a win for the Mariners. And the reason is because they got Bruce in the deal for Cano and Diaz from the Mets. So they shed, it's a $60 million plus, even eating that $18 million for Diaz. Now they got him along with Jared, what's his name? Kellner? Kelix. He's the outfield. He's the top prospect in the organization. And
Selenik. I think it's Selenik. Is that? Am I crazy?
Yeah, something like that. Kellenic,
yeah. He's great, man. I'm excited to see him. He's been moving up quickly through the minors, and he's been fun.
Yes, he has turned out to be, so far in the minor leagues, he is the guy to watch on his path, that we can have some hope coming up as Mariners fans to see where he's going to get there. So, I mean, this is seeing Bruce leave and go somewhere else. It was performing. He's going to be a guy that anybody on this team, everybody's available, basically. Anybody who's not under team control is going to be available. If they got to pay you to take him, you can take him. So that means we're probably going to see Encarnacion gone. We might see D. Gordon gone. That's
totally cool. That's cool, man. I mean, I would hate to see D go because he was fun last year, but if we lose Edwin and we lose Domingo and all those guys, totally fine with that. That's totally the process.
Now, Seager will stay because his contract is terrible. And the other two, the big question marks are Haniger and Gonzalez. Now, we talked about Gonzalez shit in the bed over his past couple of starts, but the kid's got the arm. He should be fine. And Mitch Haniger, all-star, he's also been really bad this year, missing the ball quite a bit. But that said, former all-star can probably put it together. You got to figure that these two guys are on the team. Like, oh, what are we doing? That's just the clubhouse right now has to be not a lot of fun.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Mitch is a piece, but I think he's turning. He's becoming a smaller piece. As more time goes along. I mean, last year he was the all-star, the king. The bright and shining armor for the next season. But this year he's just coming up short, man. It's kind of his value's going down. It's kind of. I mean, I never thought of him as a franchise player, but definitely, his value's taking a hit this year.
And honest to God, it really is one of those situations that if anybody wants the Mariners, if somebody wants to take them and they've got prospects to deal, the key to this is just banking prospects. That is all it is. It's having as many assets and chances to get star players and top draft picks as you can get. And that's the whole point of trying this rebuild. Bring up the kids and get as many as you can and throw whatever you can against the wall and see what sticks. Because especially in baseball, who knows who's going to make it in the majors, man? The jump from college ball to the bigs is the hardest and the steepest of any of the major sports, and most of the guys never make it. There are 3 levels of teams filled with dudes trying to make the major leagues, and most of them just don't get here. So it really is about stockpiling as many as you can get to try and make that happen. So who knows, man? This is building as it goes, you know.
Yeah, but before we move on, I just want to give a little credit to the Mariners fan base real quick. I just did a little bit of research, and I went back to 2013 to see the MLB attendance when the Astros were processing, and they had a terrible attendance, way worse than what the Mariners are experiencing right now. So got to give it up to the Mariners fans on that note. And I also just want to quickly give a shout out to our number 1 draft pick. We drafted George Kirby, right-handed pitcher from Elon, in the draft this past week. So got to give it up to him. We're trying to get a new arm, and he was pretty dominant last year. He was 8-2 with a 2.75 ERA. He's coming out of Elon, and good luck to him.
All three of the first draft picks from the Mariners, young pitchers. That is how you win in baseball. You need the arms in there, so that's what they take. Hey, by the way, one more note on this: the trade of Jay Bruce opened up a roster spot and brought up Braden Bishop from Tacoma.
Oh, nice.
A UW prospect. He is best known actually as the guy who came in when Ichiro came out during the last game there in Japan. That is how you might best know Braden Bishop. But Bishop down there at the Tacoma Rainiers was hitting 298 and 324 in May. So welcome to the show, Braden Bishop. Good luck. It's going to be.
Hey. Funny thing is, actually, maybe we should transition to